Hi there. The Interact units are intended to be delivered in a particular sequence, and the screen that you're looking at the moment on the Interact Schools website shows you the sequence that they are intended to be taught. We are often asked whether that order can be changed, and certainly it can. As long as you're aware of what is in each of the units, you can make an informed decision about when to teach them. However, there's certain reasons why there is a suggested order. The first one is about the developmental nature of the units, both in terms of teacher professional development and the development of a student's repertoire of tools and strategies. So, for example, in a Term 1 unit, the students and the teachers might be introduced to a lotus diagram, and there is a very thorough explanation and background to using a lotus diagram. Then it may be used again in a Term 3 unit, and whilst in the context of the unit it's quite clear how to use it, that in-depth explanation might not be there because it has been presented in a previous unit. And that remains the same sort of story for collaborative tools, thinking tools, etc. that are used throughout the suite of the Interact units. The main reason that people ask why they might change the order is generally speaking because of camps and excursions that they have previously run, that are scheduled into their school year and that have been very successful. This is where the beauty of conceptual learning comes in, because it really doesn't matter what camp or what excursion you're going on, the concept that is being investigated at the time you will find able to apply to that camp. So if we look at the example of a popular camp to the seaside, to a beach location, and a school is regularly investigated sustainability to coincide with that camp. If it happens to be the camp is timetabled for Term 4 and the Interact concept being investigated is creativity, it doesn't take a whole lot to start thinking about how the students could investigate creativity while they're at that seaside camp. How have the camp owners been creative in the way that they have built the camp to consider sustainability? How creative have they been in the types of activities that they've provided for students? If the camp came up during the term that the concept of change was being investigated, it becomes fairly straightforward. How has the environment changed over time? How have the types of activities that have been provided for children changed over time? And it really doesn't matter where you're going or what you're doing, the concept being investigated will be able to be applied to that outing or that excursion. So that means that really your students get to see the concept that is being investigated in their everyday life, and it really does become more meaningful. So the need to change the units really doesn't exist very often, and so you can stay with it. There is one very, very strong recommendation, and in actual fact, schools won't be allowed to purchase the Curiosity units for levels 3 or 4 until such time as they have completed the 7 previous units. That's because the Curiosity units is intended as a culminating unit for the senior half of the school, because the students need to have been exposed to and have the learning experiences of habits of mind and multiple intelligences and reflective practice for those previous 7 terms in order for them to be successful at their Curiosity units. That's because for years 5 and 6, and to a lesser degree for years 3 and 4, the Curiosity units involve a completely independent, genuine personal inquiry. However, to be successful, it is highly structured, and that is that the students need to view their inquiry through each of the multiple intelligences. They have to demonstrate each week which 2 of the habits of mind they have applied to their learning to ensure its success, etc. So that's the only exception. The others can be moved around, but what we do recommend is have a good think about that before you do it, because you'll probably find when you look at conceptual learning that there's really no need to move them at all. Thanks. See ya.